I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wine and FaceTime. How's everyone doing? Thank you guys for taking the time to log in with me. I know it's the 4th of July weekend. I know a lot of people have plans. So I definitely thank you guys who are going to show up. Good evening, Mr. Negron. How are you? Thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you coming through on time. Sorry I kept you hanging for a little bit.
It's okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for allowing me on your panel.
No problem. How's your weekend going so far?
Okay. I'm just I'm just getting ready because the following weekend I'll be in Philly for a week.
Right. I remember you telling me about that. Pretty cool. Well, I do have a bottle of wine today, but I didn't even open it, and I'm really horrible at opening bottles of wine, so I think it's gonna just sit there on the floor, and I'm gonna just get to it another time because I can't imagine doing two things at once like this on the live stream. So I'm not even gonna dare try to pop this bottle while on the live stream because that sounds very dangerous. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining me. I definitely wanted to do a part 3 to this wine and FaceTime because this is so common, so popular in the news, media outlets, and everything, and we all go through loss. And I was watching your friend Introvert Bowiqua. He had a snippet on his YouTube about grief, and he had actually a snippet of one of your episodes in one of his episodes, and he was quoting someone else, and it was really interesting. And I was telling him how much I liked it, and he was telling me how much you inspired him, and I was telling him how much his video inspired me somewhat. So thank you for that video. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Well, thank you. I find it really heartwarming that I've gotten a lot of love. And now I've gotten 99 subscribes, so I'm missing one to get to the big 100. And
Ooh, so interesting.
the fact of the matter is 90% of my audience is from the ages 18 to 34.
Okay. Well, that's still good. Was nothing wrong with that.
That's nothing wrong with it.
Definitely, that's amazing. Definitely amazing. So, thank you again for joining me. So I wanted to, make a part 3 to this so that people could join the panel if they wanted to, such as yourself, and a few other people. So I do want to text a few people tonight's link again, and I'll just put it in the chat probably as well. If anyone's watching live and you want to join the panel, well, not anyone, but if you spoke to
Yeah.
me about joining the panel previously and you think you may want to join the panel, please send me a text. I'll send you the link to your phone directly. I won't just post it here necessarily, unless I see someone come in and comment and say, "Hey, throw me the chat link." Then, of course, I'll drop it as well. But
Well,
I do see people viewing right
unfortunately,
now.
unfortunately, that's the reality here on YouTube. They have certain individuals who will try to disrupt the stream. I mean, I think if you were to saw my stream, like about a week or so ago, when an individual tried to enter my platform when he was not welcome and tried to disrupt things over there before he was finally removed.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I feel like, that's why I just caught myself saying, like, you know what? I don't necessarily mean that. Let me make sure I say it the proper way because I don't want anyone just jumping in.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's the reality, and they try to take away from what was just the topic, which is regarding the increase in gun violence here in not just in New York City, but in many places in this country.
Absolutely, that's why I definitely want to talk about it. I got a video link today on YouTube from my mom, and it was regarding a video of my cousin in the hospital being wheeled out of his room, and allegedly he donated his organs. So the whole hospital staff were lined up from his room down to the elevators, all clapping and like greeting the immediate family as they rolled his body out of the room, and did the process of whatever they're doing. So I'm like, wow, it really hit home. Like it's really over. Like I knew it was over, but again, you always have that little percentage of hope. You want to have that hope. So I'm like, wow, that really hit home. And my uncle posted the video to YouTube so everyone can see it. So I just took a look at it, and it's like really emotional and heartfelt. And I just really want to talk about tonight, like what realistically can we do as far as gun control, gun violence, gun laws, like this whole every day you wake up and turn on the news, every time you log on social media, every time something is trending, like what can we realistically do? This is just getting too common to the point where it's like you're becoming desensitized and numb to it, even if it does hit close home. Like it's just so outrageous. And it's just I feel, of course I'm very much in my feelings right now. It's still fresh for me. I definitely had hope despite all the negative things I heard from doctors and family. But again, outside of me, like everyone is going through this. Everyone's losing someone to gun violence. Like it's not just me. It's a lot of people around us who we know or friends of friends, in general. And it's like it realistically seems there's no way to control this problem. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. And I want people like you to join in and chat in and give you a sense on what you think realistically can happen. Not the future, but like realistically right now, like what can happen because people like me are becoming hopeless.
Well, the reality is the natural tendency is to try to tighten the gun laws even further. I mean, we have among the most strictest gun laws in the nation, and with all that, the murder, the murder by guns are going up. The fact of the matter is, illegal people, criminals, will manage somehow to get guns. What needs to be done is, first of all, the people who actually perpetrate these crimes must be punished and sent the sent appropriate time in prison. Uh, as far as you know, owning a gun, um, if anyone wishes to apply to get a license, first of all, they have to be properly trained to operate a firearm, and then have to go to a psychological analysis because not everyone is mentally fit to own a gun. The last thing we need is any more schizoids, armed and dangerous.
Absolutely. And that's the whole problem. So it's not just an easy solution, like just give everyone guns. And I definitely recognize that. I know that's not the answer. Let everyone have guns because it really would be the wild, wild west. It really would be. So it definitely needs to be measures put in place to ensure that this is done effectively and efficiently. But gosh, we have so many flaws. Like I hate to come off as the naysayer or the negative, but or the conspiracy theorist type, but we have like so many flaws in the judicial system and law enforcement and the people that work in these positions to trust, how right, things will go, or will there be loopholes or side, it's just so much to put in place. So again, like I hear your idea as far as they can make things on paper different that way it can go that way possibly, but like how long do you think things like this will take?
I'm afraid it's going to take more people to be killed before any other action. And at this stage, I really don't know because the natural tendency is to have tighter gun control. And we have seen it here that is not the solution because criminals will always manage to get guns no matter what. What's going to happen is you're going to make it harder for law-abiding citizens who are properly trained, who are properly mentally alert and well to get a license to own a gun. And I see here we have the introvert Boricua, who's the latest member of the Golden Spear.
No, Jose, don't start with me with that.
Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you.
Thanks for inviting me. I mean, I got held out a little bit, so I couldn't be from the very beginning with you guys. But I'm here. I'm here. I mean, I hear what you guys are talking about, and all I can say is that you guys that are in New York, like, don't let this be. Don't let this be. You have already lost a lot of your rights, and that there is a regulation that is like over 100 years old, and it hadn't make you any safer. I mean, when it was first announced that the Supreme Court decision came down, when it came to invalidating the New York gun laws that were restrictive of the Second Amendment rights of the plaintiffs, um, the Mayor Adams, he immediately came out talking about that it's gonna make New Yorkers less safe. How can New Yorkers be less safe? A lot of people are dying out there. A lot of people are dying in the street. Many of the people that are dying are innocent because of gun violence. I mean, the restrictions aren't working. You guys know that. You live there. You know that. I'm just commenting on what I'm I'm observing. It's not working. It's not working. It's time to let people being able to protect themselves. Of course, of course. I mean, because of the density of the population, maybe certain additional measures will have to be taken into consideration. I mean, I'm not a fan of some obligatory psychological evaluations. I'm not a fan of that, but in the case of New York, because it can be a crazy place, I guess well, it will be up to you to consider that option. I'm not a fan of it. I don't know if that's what I will want for you guys. But still, what I am for is people being able to protect themselves. I've said that over and over on my life. I made a whole life about that you know that you guys participated in, and I wouldn't want you guys to not be able to take measures, to take your protection in your own hands, because you can't go by what you see in the cop shows and Law and Order and the like. There's always the cops that show up always in the nick of time to save the day. These good-looking cops that always show up right on time, and they save the day every time, always. No, no, that's not reality. That's not reality, because the cops are never gonna show up on time. They can't prevent the crimes. They show up after the crime has already happened, after somebody has already died, or several people have already died.
Exactly.
That's
Like
the
you
real
have
work.
to, like, not to cut you off, introvert Bariqua, but that's my thing too. That's my personal feelings about it. Is like you have to be the victim first in every
Yes,
situation. Who wants to be the victim first? You don't get to make it all the time. Like, look what's going on. Like, you don't get to make it all the time. Like, it's not a guarantee being a victim first with this strategy and
and that's
relying on
exactly.
911 in the court system. It's not
Uh-huh.
realistic.
And that's exactly how they want to keep you guys. They want to keep you being vulnerable so you can be victims. They're doing that. I think that they know it. That they know that they're making victims out of you guys, out of their constituents, but they have to play dumb about it. They know, but they have to play dumb about it, and then they keep you vulnerable. They keep you being a potential victim, and then they try to sell you on the so-called solution so they can get your vote, and nothing changes, and nothing gets resolved.
Well,
To hell with it. No,
You
well,
should
it's
be
all
I wanna
based
be able
on
to do it
well, it,
myself. Uh-huh. Yes, sir.
it's based on emotion. It's not based on facts. And again, I'm going to state it again. So some brain damaged people who do not understand. We have the most strict laws among the nation, and with
Yeah.
all that, murders are up, homicides are up, assaults are up. Okay, sexual
Everything,
assault
everything.
is up,
Yeah, everything
robbery.
going on.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
I mean, the only thing that's not up is the only thing that's not up is the nice cold winters you used to have. But then again,
Maybe
it's
the other thing the other
but
thing that
honestly,
that isn't going
That's
up.
true.
Maybe the other thing that isn't going up are the wages. I mean, that may be the only other thing that isn't going up, but everything else that affects you guys negatively is going up. Well, affects us because there is inflation down here too in Texas. I mean, so it's kind of limiting my movement a little bit. Locally, everything that I need, I have it close by, but prices are going up because, as we have talked about before, everything that needs to be transported, everything that has to be put on a truck to get it somewhere, is gonna cost more because fuel costs more. So if fuel costs more, everything that needs to be transported it's gonna cost more. It's gonna go up. Yeah. So it directly has to do with that. I mean,
yeah.
it's easy to say like, okay, but why there is a shortage of oil? Because okay, there is some natural gas that comes from Russia that I think is the Germans, the ones that benefit the most from that. I don't think it is us that benefit from that. We already made a mess out of the Middle East so we can get the oil out of there. So what's the holdup? What's the holdup with the oil deliveries? That shouldn't be concerning us. I mean, it's sad. It's messed up about what's happening in the Ukraine. But is it really our problem right now? Is it really? I mean, because they got us they got us over here sending them billions on top of billions of dollars. I don't know how much of it is Zelensky pocketing, but we're handing them over money hand over fist, and it comes out of the taxpayer. So that concerns me, and that bothers me. But going back to when it comes to
Yeah.
the oil, what's the holdup with the oil? We're getting the oil from somewhere else. We're not getting it from Russia or the Ukraine, or am I mistaken?
Don't give me the lying. Like this news
I
is
don't
over.
know.
Jose, you know?
Yeah, you know what? I really don't know. That's something I'm gonna have to study. But the fact, okay, but I keep saying this again and again and again. Stricter gun control laws are not the solution. The solution is the following: you
No.
arrest the people who are found guilty of these crimes, and then they get the sentences that they deserve, and then you make a process where people who are mentally sound, who are properly trained to to get a license to operate firearms. That's how you deal with the situation. You don't
Yeah.
add more gun control laws. That's not going to change the situation one bit. Except make it
No.
harder for law-abiding citizens to get license.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to get out there. That's what I'm trying to bring home the issue that the gun control laws only affect the law abiding. It doesn't affect the bad people. It doesn't affect the criminals. They're gonna have whatever they want because there is an underground market already, a black market already set up there where the criminals can get whatever they want. All of the latest gear, all of the latest toys, fully automatic stuff. Even where I'm from in Puerto Rico, the dope dealers in Puerto Rico, they have all of the latest things that the police can't fight them. The police can fight against them because they are the ones that they have fully automatic pistols, Glocks with the switch on the back of the slide that makes it the same as like a mini Uzi or a micro Uzi, fully automatic pistol. And they got also fully automatic machine guns when it comes to rifles. Like what would be called like a real assault weapon. I mean, those are not the industry terms, but a machine gun is an industry term. On the streets, the criminals have those weapons. They have that latest gear that not even the police has. And and they can do whatever they want because they get it on the streets. I mean, they don't go through any regulation. They don't. It goes to people that are already breaking the laws. I mean, and they don't care. They're in the middle of a war. Those guys are not going to live long, but there are going to be a lot of stray bullets. That are going to strike a lot of people. That a lot of people may get caught up in the crossfire, and that's a problem. And that is a problem. And all the more reason. I mean, at least give the law-abiding a chance. I mean, don't force them. Don't force them to be victims. I strongly disagree. Again, everything that I'm saying is fueled by my perspective in the years that I have been living in Texas. Because I don't worry about none of that. I don't worry about none of it. Okay, there is crime. Definitely, there is crime in areas like the southern Dallas area. That's not what I live at. But there is crime, but it's a little bit more contained. I mean, they're not all over the place causing problems. They're kind of like more contained into the neighborhoods. But at least the law abiding has a bit more of a chance. And that's what I will advocate for. And it was very disappointing that there were Republicans in Congress that co-signed the bipartisan gun control bill that was passed like the following day. The following day, Joe Biden was signing this bill to counter the Supreme Court decision. I mean, but it doesn't. I talked about it on my live stream, but I don't know exactly what is that gonna be because they don't define it. They don't define how they are gonna do certain things. Like the main 3 bullet points on this gun control bill is that raising the age requirement from 18 to 21. Another thing it will be and so-called quote unquote enhancing the background checks. Again, there is already a process where there is a federal background check. If there is something on your record, if you have a criminal record or something like that, it's gonna show up there. And if you have been convicted of a major charge, you're not gonna be able to get a weapon. There is already a system in place, a federal background check. The other thing, restricting access to a firearm for somebody who's had some kind of issue of domestic violence, something along those lines that we're talking about. The thing is that there is already something in place for that. Because if you go, let me see if I have the document open. Hang on. I'm gonna try and share a little something so you can see what I mean. I need to make sure that I have the document open because I want you to see it. It's on my live, but I'm gonna try and see if I can get you guys to see it. Hang on. I'm gonna share. Let me see because I have to wait for. Okay.
Okay. Well, while you looking, I just want to let everybody know that so far I've gotten 99 subs.
Okay.
I've heard about that. 99 subs. One more person's gonna bless you tonight. That's how it goes.
Yes, we're hoping for that. So anybody watching this that haven't subscribed to Don Jose's channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe.
Yes. Please subscribe to everyone's channel here. Please subscribe to my channel, KFIT Now, Uncommon Sense with Jose Nobrone, Introvert Boricua. Please like and subscribe to our channels. Post notification on so you can know we're going live. You can get the heads up in advance. We thank you. We see you looking, but you're not liking and subscribing. So press the like button. Thank you.
So really quick, this is the form that you have to fill out if you're gonna be getting a firearm. Now you see down here, so you can see what the actual name of it is. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get back to it because for a moment I wasn't completely sure. So if you look down here, I have a little difficulty zooming in, but you see that it says ATF Form 4473. This is very important because everybody that is getting a firearm has to fill out one of these. Okay. Now, if we go up, there are several questions. First, you start by filling out basic personal information, last name, first name, middle name, address, place of birth, and so on. And questions of ethnicity. These did get me a little bit apprehensive. Like, why do they need to know that? Why do they care about race? But if we go to the questions, to the yes or no questions, there is one in particular that I want you guys to see. This is very important. On the item letter I, there is the following question: have you ever been convicted in any court of a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence? This was part of what was called the Clinton gun control measures that he signed into law back in 1994. Before 1994, this question wasn't there. This question wasn't on the floor. But his measures, what he signed into law, added this. Now, as you see, if you have a misdemeanor because of domestic violence, of course, you can answer yes or no. But the thing is, if you say no and you actually have a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence, on the background check, of the federal background check, that should come up. And if you say no and it turns out that you do have a misdemeanor, the first thing is you don't get the gun. That's the first thing. You already, that's it. That's all. You don't have the Second Amendment right anymore. The second thing is that you might get arrested for that. You might get in trouble because you just lied. You just lied on a federal form. So there is already something in place for issues when it comes to somebody who has been convicted of a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence. Just a misdemeanor. Just a misdemeanor. That alone already prohibits you from having a firearm. So I don't know what is it that they mean when they were talking about that they're gonna make it difficult for somebody who has had issues of domestic violence to get a firearm, because there is already by law something in place. That also the whole thing with the universal background check, as I said, what do they mean? Universal? They're talking about enhanced background checks. There is already federal background checks. That's already a thing. So what do they mean? What do they mean with that? They're gonna have to explain that, because I have no idea. So I'm gonna stop sharing
Thank you
this.
for sharing that. That was really interesting. I'm really concerned as well about the illegal guns too. Like, I feel like the penalty for being caught with a legal gun, the penalty has to be more severe. They need to figure that out too at the same time too, because too many people are getting their hands on illegal guns too. So it's just a big of an issue at the end of the day, the way I see it too, because they get them, they get rid of them, they're out of court just that quick because the cops don't got the guns. So next thing they're free to go. You know, there's no DNA, nothing. They just free to go, you know, when it comes to these murders specifically. But it's just, you know, we need strength all around, you know, violence, you know, the laws to get guns, you know, to carry guns, like it all needs to be strengthened, because it's not fair that people got to move to other states to feel like they need to protect themselves to be able to say they can bear arms, whether it's in a book or an amendment or not. It's like people have really moved out of states just to feel like they can find that closure and mentality of, you know, feeling they can protect themselves and their families.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard people say that before on other live streams. I'm like, you know, you can't blame someone for doing what they feel they need to do if that's the extent of what they need to do.
Yeah.
Comments?
Like I said before, I mean, I see they're talking about, you know, stricter background checks. I mean, they need to define what that means. I don't see anything when it talks about requirement as far as being trained, because you know, the fact of the matter is, um, if you're mentally sound and and and, and okay, excuse me, I don't know what this is. If you're mentally sound.
My bad. That was me. It's just that I was refreshing something, but yeah. All
Okay,
right, I
and
already closed the tab. Mhm.
okay, but like I said before, there's nothing in there talking about training to operate firearms. I mean, because if you're not properly trained, you're not going to get a license.
Yeah. To a degree, I can understand it because this is something that I have seen. When I was getting my license, uh, I had to go to a safety class that is required as part of the testing of the testing phase, because there is kind of like a written test, but there is also a practical test. And the you did not so much the safety itself, but when I went to do the testing, so I could get the concealed license. There were people that were there that had never picked up a gun before. They were trying to get the concealed carry license, but they had never shot a gun before. They didn't have their own gun. I mean, at least most of the people were there. They had their own guns, and they already knew how to handle their weapon, and they had already taken classes. So it's kind of optional, apparently, here in Texas. But I will agree. I wouldn't mind if there was kind of like a minimum requirement of safety training for safety, just for safety, because that's something that one has to be really big about. It's about safety. It has to be that first, always. Safety. That preserves lives. And there are people that might not be trained, and that could be a safety issue. Now they don't address that so much down here, so I wouldn't mind like a minimum, something minimal, some kind of training, a minimal amount of training as a requirement for the license. That I don't think it will be too bad to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because
you know what's the problem with that?
Good point.
Yeah, but you know what's the problem with that? It makes too much sense.
Ah. yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you.
It's just really sad every day, literally every day. It's to the point where you forgetting the age and what this person's name was. Oh, was it the person from yesterday? Was it the person from the other day? Oh, that sound like the other one. Like you become super numb to these things. Like it's just the norm. It's just how it happens. Like it's really
Yeah,
sickening. Like
yeah,
I have
yeah.
no idea of again what can be done besides what Jose says. Arrest everyone who commits a murder. But what about the ones that don't get caught? Like what happens to those? They just get to Scott Willie until they, get the opportunity to just be in the wrong place at the wrong time and just get cuffed.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like every random place that we think is a normal place no longer seems like a normal place. The supermarket, the church, the grocery store, a concert, all these normal places where it's not like you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. This is what people do.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, even if people don't have guns to protect themselves, you feel like it's okay to just be the victim first, still in that situation.
yeah. I hear you. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's the hard part for me, and that's more for Jose, because again, he says more guns on the street doesn't mean a safer city, and I agree. But do you feel where I'm coming from? Do you feel like okay, you're okay being the victim first because that's just the way the system is set up
It
to
shouldn't
be?
be okay. It shouldn't be okay.
Like
Not
I
for
don't think
anyone.
it should be okay.
hmm Yeah, but that's what the politicians want to tell you. They want you to be okay with being the victim first, and maybe then you can get some justice. Maybe then you can get some action to counter
Yeah.
the
Like maybe we'll
to
throw your family some money. Maybe we'll pay for something, or maybe we'll give we'll change a block for your neighborhood or something, or maybe we'll do a charity fund. Like those
yeah,
things don't bring people back.
no, No.
You know, it's like you're bought sometimes. And again, I know it may be coming off spicy or negative, but my wound is still fresh.
Mhm.
I was gonna show you guys a video I got today from my uncle. But I don't even know how to do that. And I keep saying I'm gonna share on live stream, and I never share on live stream. So I'm like, every time I try to do it, I have no idea what I'm doing. But
Okay, what I would suggest is you do the millennial thing and look in YouTube and see how to share it because that's how I learned.
Yeah. Maybe later on. Yeah, that's something that you have to kind of practice, because if you look at the on your uh down on the lower screen, if you're using a computer, there is the option that says share,
right,
but it is clicking via there. There are going to be a couple of options, and what will be recommended is that if you're opening up the video or whatever, then you use the tab that says share the tab, and then you select the tab that where the video is, and you should be able to play it fine, and hit the check mark that says share audio, something about sharing audio. But maybe you're not comfortable with doing that now, so it's better. It might be better that you do what Jose said, and later you look up videos and they can show you. You can see how it goes. Yeah.
right, yeah. So I'll definitely probably share that link. I think I actually put the video in my chat. I think in
Hmm.
one of my playlists. I think it's in one of my wine and FaceTime playlists, the video I was talking about. So allegedly like they did some kind of standing ovation and wheeling my cousin out. Everyone's clapping and applauding because he's donating his all of his organs, and his immediate brothers and sisters are like totally broken down, and it's like all live on YouTube. And I just saw the video today, so I'm like, wow, still coping. But I have a comment from someone in the chat I wanted to acknowledge. Elaine Lyman. She says, beyond the training or background checks, the AK-47 or rifle type gun needs not to be sold to regular people. We aren't in need of assault weapons. They are not. They are used in combat. Yeah,
Yeah,
true as well.
I
Makes
understand what
sense.
Miss Elaine is saying, but
Thank you,
uh,
Elaine.
no, I understand what Miss Elaine is saying, but what is an assault weapon? I mean, that the politicians have never really defined what that is. I mean, and if we're talking about magazine capacity, that's another thing that they like to talk about, limiting the so-called clips, which are called magazines. But the thing is that is not going to make a difference with the criminals, because the criminals get all the magazine capacity that they can get. And again, that whole notion that the a rifle shouldn't be sold to people. Well, in this country, people have gotten rifles forever. I mean, it's part of it's part of the culture. Remember, the country itself started out of a war, and that whole thing, what you're talking about is, again, restricting access to the good people, to the people that are actually obeying the laws, because the criminals are gonna get all the AK-47s that they want, all the nice toys, fully automatic machine guns that they're gonna get that. They're gonna get that, and the law abiding is just plain vulnerable.
It's crazy. Like I feel like okay, if you live in an area where there's like wild deer and bears and stuff like that, I can understand why you may have an assault rifle because maybe you go hunting or maybe it's for safety, But in the city, no one needs an AK-47 or a machine gun or nothing crazy. Like I don't see why anyone needs a gun of that capacity. And if you do need a gun of that capacity, you need more than that gun. You need help. You need to go talk to a lawyer. You need to go
Mm,
speak to the police. You need to go talk to somebody that can help you out because that's mentally crazy to be living in fear like that. That you feel like you gotta have your house stocked like you one of those people
yeah.
from the doomsday preppers because you think someone's coming for you. Like I can see one or two guns, but you're coming about those kind of guns. It's like okay, where do you live at that you have this type of gun? So if you're in the city, you have these Call of Duty guns that look like some
Uh-huh.
sharpshooters. That's ridiculous. Why would
Uh,
anyone need that kind of gun?
No, but that's the thing. You're asking me when I have a couple of those.
I mean,
I'm
but
gonna.
you live
It
in
just so happens.
Texas, though.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I can show you. There, I'm gonna show you something really quick right now. I'm not gonna be on camera, but I'm gonna show. You're gonna see my hand with something in it. It just so happens because I was tinkering with it. I'm gonna turn on the the camera, and I'm gonna show you the following. You see this? You see this? This is the magazine
Yes.
that the AK rifle uses. It just so happens that I was tinkering with it because I was fixing something with the follower. This is the magazine that it uses. This is a 30 round capacity magazine. But the thing is that you can make a restriction for magazines in your state. But the thing is that the bad guys are gonna get what it is that they want. It's not gonna affect them. You see what
Right.
I'm saying?
For sure.
So but again, it is about doing the right thing when it comes to being law abiding and all of that. And of course, like down here, not everybody can have a weapon legally. I mean, you do have to go through a background check and make sure that you don't have anything on your record. You have something on your record, you don't get the weapon. Absolutely not.
Yeah, like I don't know. I definitely think Elaine Lyman says in the chat, she's like maybe a separate requirement for those. I'm like, yeah, for assault rifles, like if you need an assault rifle, like, again, depending
Mhm.
on where you live at, I don't think you need that. I think something's going on and you're in trouble. Like, no, I mean, not trying to judge, but there may be something
Yeah.
going on in there.
Well, it has to be defined. What is an assault rifle? Like, what is an assault weapon? Because that's what the politicians and the people on TV keep talking about. Assault weapons, assault weapons. Okay, what is an assault weapon? They haven't defined that. Let them define that
Well,
first, and then we can talk about it.
Well, wouldn't it include like all those army
well,
military style weapons? Like, wouldn't that wouldn't
Well,
those be
those
assault
are
weapons?
no, because those are semi-automatic. The people are calling semi-automatic weapons assault weapons, but that is based on cosmetics. It's based on appearance. What makes something a machine gun? It has to do with what is inside the receiver. There are additional components that facilitate for the weapon to be more like a machine gun, like what you see in the movies that they pull the trigger once and it keeps shooting. It goes like that. What you see in the movies, those are machine guns, and those are heavily heavily regulated. Most people, most civilians cannot have those because those are very expensive. It's very expensive to get the paperwork done, to get the requirements, tax stamps, and the firearm itself. It costs tens of thousands of dollars. Most
So,
people cannot have them.
question: so, is it illegal in Texas to have a silencer? That's illegal everywhere, right? No one can have a silencer, right? Allegedly, but these things are out there. There's silencers
Yeah,
on these guns.
yes, people can have yes, people can have silencers, but the laws for them vary from state to state. Maybe there are states where they're not allowed at all, but here in Texas, you can have you can they're really called suppressors. No, nothing is really a silencer because there is still noise. You still get a little bit of noise, but you suppress most of it. You suppress most of the noise to a level of decibels that is safe for your ears. And but there is still a process that has to go to it. You have to file additional federal forms for it. You have to pay for a tax stamp that is $200, and there is a waiting period too. That takes a few months for you to be authorized to purchase the silencer. Then you can buy your suppressor. Mhm.
I want to acknowledge my sisters in the chat. Shout out to Sasha Smith. Thanks for coming through. She says no civilian should have an assault rifle. Period. We're trying to figure out what is an assault rifle specifically.
actually, I just look it up in Wikipedia. The term, okay, I'm going to read what it states. The term assault weapon is used in the United States to define various types of firearms. The definition varies among regulating jurisdictions, but usually includes Semi-automatic firearms with a detachable magazine, a pistol grip, and sometimes other features such as a vertical forward grip, flash suppressor, or barrel shroud. Certain firearms are specified by name in some laws that restrict assault weapons. So that's one definition according to Wikipedia. Hey, good evening, Gigi.
Hey, Gigi, what's going on?
Hey girlfriend, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks sis for stopping by. I really appreciate you. So I want to know. So that sounds like an assault rifle is kind of like the semi-automatic weapons that you're talking about, Ramon. Correct?
Yeah, but it doesn't say that definition doesn't say anything about the function. It doesn't say anything about the a selector switch. It doesn't say anything about a full auto sear. It doesn't say anything about the internal components of the receiver. All of that is based on cosmetics. It's not they're not what makes a semi-automatic weapon a semi-automatic, and what makes a machine gun, it has to do with the internal components of the receiver. I mean, assault weapon or assault rifle, that's not a thing because those two terms are media made up. They're made up by the media. They're not industry terms. Those are media terms. That's
So what are they
that's the
called in
difference.
industry terms if they're not called semi-automatic weapons?
No, industry terms will be, I mean, semi-automatic, which is what is available to civilians that don't have a criminal record, or there are machine guns that's what is usually available to the military, or to rich civilians that can dish out tens of thousands of dollars for one. There are some that are available, and they have to have been manufactured before a certain date in 1986. Nothing newer. No, nothing can be newer that when Ronald Reagan signed certain gun control laws in 1986, it has to be something older than that because that was already in the country and that was already legal in the United States. If one can find one of those machine guns that were manufactured at the kind of like the at the first during the first half of 1986 or before, a rich person can actually purchase one of those. They have to go through a complicated process of paperwork. There are high costs involved, plus the machine gun that is going to cost thousands upon thousands of dollars. So
So
that's a very
question for you.
tiny, a very tiny group of people that can afford those. Most people cannot afford them.
So what's the cost of a semi-automatic weapon versus a machine gun versus a regular pistol? Because someone like me, I'm not educated at all on guns besides knowing that a loved one or someone was killed. You know, I worked in an office where I had a chance to work in a ballistics position where I learned certain terminology and work, for these assistant district attorney people. But outside
Mhm.
of that, I wouldn't really know if the price range is, like so. Since you're in Texas where guns are legal, you can, be licensed to carry and everything. How
Yeah.
much does this cost to be able to buy a semi-automatic versus a machine gun? Educate us, please, if you can.
Well, when it comes to machine guns, I don't have a lot of knowledge on that, but I have seen older M16s, which is it looks like an AR-15. AR-15 is all of them are semi-automatic. Those are the civilian ones. Those are the semi-automatic that only shoot one round per trigger pull. But there is the M16, which is what was used by the military, and those are kind of like they look the same, but those have different components inside of the receiver that will allow for fully automatic fire, or what is called also a machine gun. So an M16, you might be able to find them on Gun Broker, but they're very expensive. We're talking about over $20,000, and you have to do a whole bunch of paperwork and get licenses, approval by the government, tax stamps. You're talking about it's going to run you a pretty penny. So most people cannot afford cannot afford them. That whole notion that a whole bunch of people or gun nuts, they have a whole bunch of so-called assault weapons, talking about machine guns. Most people don't have that. Most people don't have that. So I'm gonna share an image. I'm gonna share an image really quick. Let me see if I do it right. Okay.
Sasha Smith says those military-style weapons should not be available to civilians, and they should regulate military personnel having them in public, not in combat. Yeah, I've seen that too. Did you guys see the video, kind of off topic, of the officer in the store who had her gun in her back of her waistband, and the young guy was behind her in the store, and he snatched the gun out of her waistband, and she chased him out the store, but he got away with it, and she had like a pair of stretchy leggings or something, and I don't know for whatever reason, but she had her weapon like visible so anyone could see her, but she wasn't dressed in uniform or anything like that. It was a Hispanic
Mhm.
lady in the city, and I don't know if she got fired or not, but it went viral for a while, which I had the link to throw in the chat. If anyone could throw the link in the chat to that video, if you know what I'm talking about. But I think she was a rookie cop, and some young guy just snatched her gun right off of her, and she was just vulnerable. But no one understood why she was dressed in stretched leggings with her gun in her back of her leggings, without
I
a
see.
uniform or like no
Yeah,
pump.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it just didn't look like a smart thing to do. It almost looked like she was trying to be sexy and cute and flirtatious and show.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh. That's why somebody who has a
same
concealed
time,
carry. Oh, my bad. Go on.
yeah. So like I don't know whatever happened to the girl, whatever the case is, but she was definitely a cop or a CO or something that she obviously carried a gun outside of work with her on her, but.
Hmm.
And the surveillance, it just looked really silly of her to have the gun on her the way she did. And I'm just
Uh-huh.
like, I don't understand what she was thinking in this video. Was she on
Yeah,
duty
yeah.
or off duty? Looking how she was dressed, I don't think she could have been on duty. So I'm like, why do you have your gun like that?
Yeah, yeah. No, because a police officer has to carry their gun all the time. But when they are off duty and they are wearing civilian clothes, you use the proper civilian clothes that allow you to carry the duty weapon properly. I mean, you dress appropriately. You don't wear like uh, yoga pants and you try to have your weapon stuck in your yoga pants. I mean, that doesn't look very safe. That's something that the duty weapon is could easily fall off the waist of the young lady. Yeah, she messed up. She should have worn like proper pants and carried the duty weapon on a proper holster, concealed, so that nobody knows. Because that's what I do. That's what I do. Because here I have a license to carry, but nobody knows. Just today, I was at the dentist. There were women and kids in there and all, but I have already proven to the government that I don't have a criminal. I don't have a criminal record, and I carry conceal. And there is no sign. There was no sign on the door of the office that said that I couldn't have it. So I was perfectly within the law. Now, the image that you're looking at, this is a very typical looking AR-15 rifle. Now, and kind of like an M4, which is kind of like the military version. It will look kind of almost the same as this, but what will make it different is what is in here, the mechanics, the internal components in here, because it will allow for a machine gun to have a selector switch with three positions that will be safe, single shot, and fully automatic, or a burst, like a three
Ramon,
round burst. Uh-huh.
are you showing me what you're talking about right now?
Oh, you don't see it?
I see like our screen chat right now.
Okay, let me see, maybe. Okay. Let me
Okay,
see
well,
if I
what you
can.
need to do is okay,
because I'm trying to share
Which
the image. I thought you were looking at it. My bad.
Shout
no,
out to the
what
chat.
the
Thank you
problem?
guys for showing love. Elaine Lyman, Golden Goddess, Sasha Smith. Thank you guys for showing love to the chat. I'm sorry, Jose, to cut you off.
No, but what I'm saying is, what you'll need to do is once you open up, and then you need to select the the image where you want to when you want to show want to show. Um, so that's why I would suggest that you look it up and you do a YouTube video on how to share, because that's how I learned how to share.
Okay,
Yeah,
can you see it now?
it's simple and straightforward. It's really not as simple as you think it would be. Okay, I
Mhm.
see it now.
Okay. Yeah, I used the wrong tab when I opened the share. Okay, so this is a typical kind of like a more modern with some features, an AR-15. It has kind of like the adjustable buttstock. This is the quad Picatinny rail with a forward grip and the pistol grip here, detachable magazine, and and this looks like a 16-inch barrel. Now that will make it a rifle legally. Now, what will make this kind of like a machine gun? It will be a difference in the internal components in here, because this is where it all happens. If you have like a selector switch with 3 positions, it will have a safe, the safety position, the single shot position, and a fully automatic or burst. That will be like a 3-round burst. That will be what the military uses. Most civilians don't have that. They're not allowed to, and it's
This is
too
an assault
expensive.
rifle, right? Or no?
Is what?
This is an assault rifle, yes or no?
What I described that the military use, it will be a machine gun. It will
A
be a
machine
machine gun, because assault weapon, assault rifle. Remember, those are media terms. That's what the media. Those are terms that the media made up. But a machine gun will be the proper way to call it. Now, this could be only semi-automatic, which means that the selector switch will have only 2 positions: safe and single shot per trigger pull. Now, they will look almost the same. Yes, I'll give you that. And but that's a cosmetic thing. That's not a function thing. Okay. Well, then, kind of like looking at what the comment was saying. Well, then, military style weapons should not be available to civilians, and they should regulate military personnel having them in public, not in combat. But yeah, but the thing is that um, military personnel, if you have the National Guard having to show up in a situation where they're needed and they are gonna have their weapons, they are specifically, very particularly told to keep them to keep the safety on, and uh, keeping where the not one shot can be fired negligently. I mean, but that's only the National Guard, because the army soldiers and those, they cannot be deployed on North American soil.
Thank
Only
you
the
for
National
sharing
Guard.
that information.
Yes,
That
sure
was
thing.
very helpful. Jose, would you like to comment on anything?
No, I just want to let the people in the chat know, if they have not done so, please subscribe to KFIT's channel, and if you can subscribe to the Introvert Boricua and Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much. Please subscribe to all of our channels if y'all out there watching, listening. If you agree with anything, definitely send us a comment in the chat right now before we log out. We're definitely about to wrap it up. Jose, Ramon, thank you for chiming in with your facts, knowledge, tea, and information on this topic. I really appreciate you guys.
Sure thing. Sure thing. If you were to have any other questions, you can DM me directly.
No problem. We'll do. Jose, any final words?
Well, as always, thank you for allowing me on your platform. It's just that it seems hopeless. I mean, it's just that unfortunately, it's gonna be a little bit more rougher before it gets better. I just want to let people know that I'm going to be going live tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And the topic will be how do mainland born Latinos interact with Latinos who immigrated from other countries. Sometimes there could be a misunderstanding between our respective groups, so it'll be an opportunity to try to discover who we are and what we have in common and what's different. So everyone is welcome to either comment or enter the panel. Once I place the link. But when it comes to gun violence, I mean, we have to be aware, and we have to hold these politicians accountable for these actions, and we have to insist that the people who perpetrate these crimes, they should be tried, found guilty, and then make the possibility of operating a license, of getting a gun, accessible to those who are properly trained and are mentally aware, are mentally well. Because the last thing you want is someone's not mentally well with access to a gun. And with that, I say thank you very much. Be safe. And it's now 172 days until the first day of winter.
No way. No, hold
Don Jose, you should be down here hanging out with me. It's only 110 degrees.
No. Do
110.
you want
Oh
me?
my gosh.
Do you want me to
It's
go to
only
the ER?
110.
Do you want me to go to
No, it's
the
only a
ER?
little.
That sounds
It's just
disastrous.
a little warm. It's just a little warm
Look,
weather, just a little bit.
look, it's 87 degrees right now. And I'm suffering because I mean it's horrible out here.
Yeah, I had to run a couple of errands today, and yeah, the temperature was like 109, 110 degrees. So it was just a tiny little bit warmer than the usual. So it's just a little bit of sun, and I am just a little bit darker, a little bit browner because of the
Well,
sun.
that
But
then
it does me good. Mhm.
well then you
And you
should visit New York the winter time when it gets a little bit on the cool side, and you
Well,
just man
as
the
long as
west.
as long as it doesn't go below 45 degrees, I'm okay. I'm not complaining. But
That's are you
if it goes
kidding?
below
Are
that,
you kidding? Are you kidding? That's springtime.
any
no, that's
final
winter
words,
time.
any other words you want to drop off of wisdom with us, Ramon? I definitely want to wrap this
Uh-huh.
up.
Of course, definitely. First, Kay, I want to say thank you for letting me on your panel. It was fun. I like the conversation. This is a subject that we definitely can keep it going because it's an ongoing issue. We still don't know what is it gonna happen. What's gonna happen when it comes to the bipartisan bill that they pass right the next day after the Supreme Court decision, which and the Republicans added their names to it. That's the part that still uh, kind of bothers me because the Republicans are supposed to be the pro Second Amendment guys, but here they are adding their names to a gun control bill. So I'm having a problem with that. I'm feeling a little bit salty about that.
Absolutely.
But aside from that, again, appreciate you letting me on your panel. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me because the first thing that one can do before trying to get a firearm is to get information. Inform yourself. Actually know what is it that you're talking about. Don't listen to the politicians. The politicians generally they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They say a whole bunch of things. They say a whole bunch of babble when it comes to guns to make people afraid, to fear monger. But arm yourself first with information before get an actual weapon. the first weapon that you need to have is information, actually knowing what is it that you're looking at, actually knowing how the thing works, what is it like a semi-automatic rifle, again, and what is a machine gun, what's the difference. I just explained a tiny little bit about it, but still it is up to the people to inform themselves, to actually find out for themselves. Remember, assault weapon, assault rifle, that's not a thing. Those are media terms. That's what those are scary sounding terms that they're using in the media to make the weapon seem more scary. Weapons are tools, and they can only be as safe as you want them to be, and they can only be as dangerous as you want them to be. Yes, they are designed to shoot bullets, but they can also be used for defense. Okay, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I mean, it can be used. Yes, and a responsible person can use it to cause harm, to kill somebody. Definitely, an irresponsible person and a negligent person can use it for that. Absolutely, I agree. But a responsible person can use it for defense. I mean, and this is about defense. This is people being able to protect themselves, to defend themselves. That's what I will advocate for. So, thank you, Kay. Thank you, Jose, you guys, and the chat. Even with the disagreements, I welcome the disagreements. But when somebody comes with a disagreement, follow that with a question. I mean, if you think that I don't know what I'm talking about, feel free to ask, and maybe we can inform each other. I welcome the disagreement. So follow the disagreement with a question, so we can be more on the same page and we can understand each other. Again, Kay, thank you for having me on your panel.
No problem. Thank you both. Tell me before you go, when is the next time you're going live on your channel?
I'm thinking about it. I don't know. It could be later on tonight because but I'm not thinking. I don't know. I'm not thinking about any subject. Like I could do. We could do a hangout if you have time, or Don Jose have time, and somebody else wanna come in and talk to us. Somebody like Gigi can join us. I could do that in a little while. I can set up another stream. What do you guys think?
I wanted to tell my followers pretty much what your schedule is, so they know when to expect you, so they can follow you and know when to look forward to your streams.
Okay, sure thing. I mean, they can look up on my channel, the Introvert Boricua, hit the subscribe and the bell for notifications when anything new comes up or when I'm coming on. So we can talk. We can meet up and have a chat. Absolutely.
No problem. Sounds all good. Well, thank you guys again. Jose, definitely hit me up with the link. I think you probably already sent it to me. I'll definitely try to show up on camera without hiding the camera. So it's been real, you guys. Have a good weekend. Happy 4th of July.
You too.
Yes.
You guys have a good one.
Jose, yes, just be safe and try not to. Just be safe out there and try not to lose your cool in this excessive heat that we're experiencing here in New York.
You don't have any heat. You don't have any heat. I mean, it's a little warmer here. You could come down here and experience the slight little warmth that we're having. It's only 110 degrees, so you should be fine.
Well, then in that case, you can come to New York in the wintertime and experience the spring-like temperatures in the low 20s.
Bronchitis, hypothermia. That's what I will get. That's not for me. No, sir.
Good night, guys.
Well, would you rather like? Good night.
Have a good night, guys.
I had one more. There you go. Oh, it didn't even play. Oh, there it is.